The life-side quest I experienced today is marrying a woman who never loved. 2018. This was your 7th blind date of the year. At a cafe in the county town. She pushed the door and walked in. Long black hair, white dress, even prettier than in her photos. The only catch was, she was already 29 years old. You barely dared to meet her eyes. The whole afternoon, you were the one making conversation. She just listened quietly. When the blind date ended, you thought there was no chance at all. The matchmaker called you that very night, saying she was willing to see you again. Before hanging up, the matchmaker casually mentioned, word had it she'd dated someone for years. Before they split up, her family was pressuring her hard to marry. You paused for a second, but didn't take it to heart. After all, everyone has a past. You got married very quickly. 3 months later, there was no one-knee proposal, no grand, romantic gestures, only a meal with both families sitting together to settle the bride price and wedding day. On the wedding day, the harsh lights of an old county hotel stung your eyes. The crowd chattered loudly as the MC held out the microphone, asking loudly if she took you as her husband. She stood in the middle of the crowd staring at you. Suddenly, her eyes welled up, and she burst into heavy sobs. Relatives and friends cheered and clapped. Her hands shook from nervousness. You thought they were tears of joy. After she nodded, she pulled you into a hug of her own will. That night, you believed you were the happiest man alive. Later, you asked why she'd cried. She laughed and said it all just happened too fast. Once over dinner, a friend turned to you and asked, does she even like you? You smiled and girls just warm up slowly. Deep down, you weren't truly sure. Until late winter night in 2019, 11 p.m. You worked overtime till the wee hours, returning to your rental, 39-degree fever, shivering all over from cold. Half delirious, she walked over to your bedside, holding warm congee and fever medicine. That whole night, she stayed up taking care of you. 3 in the morning, you opened your eyes and saw her asleep slumped beside the bed. In that moment, the first time, you thought she held affection. 2020, your child was born. 2022, you got a promotion and a raise. Your annual salary topped 300,000 yuan. 2023, you took out a 1.38 million loan to buy your marital home. You moved into the new house. Both sides of the family came that day. Your toddler crawled all over the living room. Everyone around you said, your life was perfectly complete. In the years that followed, you pushed yourself harder and harder, taking side gigs and business trips, pulling all-nighters at work. Your mortgage balance shrank bit by bit. You even paid off the car loan ahead of schedule. Your social media feeds were filled with travel snapshots. In every milestone of your child growing up, relatives envied you, friends envied you. Even you started to believe that marriage was simply meant to be this way. No sweeping romance, steady, reliable peace. Until a late night in 2025, you rummaged through the cabinet document. At the very bottom sat a dust-covered cardboard box filled with things she'd kept from university. Old textbooks, graduation certificate, class yearbook, and a yellowed photo album. You only flipped through it casually at first, until a photo slipped out from between the pages. The sun was about to set in the picture. The university sports field bathed in golden dust. She wore a plain white shirt, standing next to a young man, grinning brighter than you'd ever seen her smile. You froze solid. 7 years of marriage. You had never once seen her smile like that. Not even a single time. On the back of the photo, a line of handwriting read, May 17, 2014. I wish we could stay like this forever. Signed with her name. That night, you sat alone in the study for hours. Long enough for the desk lamp to grow burning hot. Long enough for dawn to creep over the windows. It hit you for the very first time. It wasn't that she couldn't love someone. She just had never loved you like that. All the tiny details you'd brushed off before suddenly clicked into place to explain everything. When you pulled all-nighters at work, she'd only tell you to rest early. When that old boyfriend switched jobs, she'd carefully analyze his career prospects. When you got your pay rise and promotion, she only said congratulations. When that man got into postgraduate school, she celebrated for days on end. Over all these years of marriage, she never cheated, never betrayed you, never did anything outright wrong. Yet your heart ached more and more each day. You finally realized everything she gave you was only the bare minimum a wife ought to provide. Nothing more, no real love included. 2026, on the drive home, silence hung heavy inside the car. Windshield wipers swished back and you suddenly spoke up. If you could choose all over again, would you still marry me? She stared blankly out the window. A long silence stretched on.